What is going on? Why are we here on a Sunday? B, why are we here?
Because EDC did it again.
He did it again, or didn't do it again. LBHT crew, what's going on? Happy Sunday. Not so happy news over here with the Ravens flock. And I see you guys already see, you've heard the bad news. You know why we're here. G-Star 007, man. Thank you for coming through. The spirit of Ogun. Shaking my head. Ravens could have traded a second for Julio. Look, we're about to talk about it. We're about to talk about it. Just a low. Thank you for joining the live stream. The Ravens never made a bold move. It pisses me off. Yeah, me too. Yazar is in the house. Thank you for joining the live stream, Yazar. Ron TV. Yes, I know. J Will 501. Arthur Smith left and Titans defense is still trash. Oh, well, you know, they got Julio. Oh, our man Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. We are so damn scary. Yeah, that's a fact. Z the Beast, what's going on, Z? What's going on? Titans still got to play defense. Hopefully we sign Houston.
How many points do y'all think Baltimore scored on Tennessee last year?
Right. Right.
A lot of comments about their defense, but I didn't see Baltimore's offense doing much about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah. Offense wins championships. Okay, in today's NFL, it ain't defense. It's offense. It's good to have a nice defense, but offense is where it's at. And look, man, if you're one of those people that are like, hey, we don't need Julio. You know, he costs too much money. He's over the hill. He gets injured a lot. Do you feel that way now that he went to Tennessee? You know, I mean, be honest with yourself. I mean, don't sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, they still don't have defense, or, you know, they don't have a quarterback or whatnot. Like, I mean, AJ Brown, Julio Jones. I mean, that might be and Derrick Henry. That might be the most physically imposing offense, running the ball and passing the ball in the league.
But look, here's the thing. And first we should say the trade that's going through, Tennessee's giving up a 2nd-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick in 2023, and they're getting back Julio Jones plus a 6th in 2023. But it's not about Tennessee.
No, it's not.
You know, Baltimore could very well still beat Tennessee. I mean, it's whatever. I don't think that makes them a Super Bowl team necessarily. Right. It's about what Julio could have done for Baltimore and how easy it would have been to get him.
Exactly. Exactly. When you hear the Ravens were out on the trade, you know, it gives you the impression that they actually tried. This tells me that they didn't try. Like, in fact, it tells me that they didn't try at all. All right, a 2nd-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick the year after. That's nothing. So even if the Titans said, "Hey, we want from you guys a 1st-round pick next year," give it up. Yeah. Like, we just wasted a 1st-round pick, right? We just wasted a 1st-round pick on a project player. Don't tell me that Julio Jones isn't worth it. We didn't try. You can't convince me otherwise. Just a Low says, anyone who says this isn't a great move for the Titans is whistling past the graveyard. Yeah, I mean, it's a great move. Spirit of Lagoon says all these QBs with weapons, and we have a dynamic QB that is better than most with the lack of weapons. Man, I feel for Lamar Jackson. I agree, man, because although we love the Rashad Bateman draft, we think Hollywood's going to be even better this year. These other teams have way better receivers. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, way better receivers. And we have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and we're not doing nearly enough to surround him with talent. Not nearly enough. Like I said, like the pick, like that we have a young wide receiver core, but it's not enough to win right now. All right. Kingbird 56, thank you for joining the live stream. We crap out EDC right now. We don't condone violence on here, you know, all the time. Jay Will says Baltimore offense didn't score a lot on the Titans, but everyone else did. Yeah.
And the Titans scored a lot, and their offense got better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Didn't even try to trade for him. No, we didn't try. Yep. Mikey says being cheap nowadays gets you left behind. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. we didn't win in this whole thing. Like what do we say? We say the draft pick that's going to be a low first round draft pick, right? That'll be hit or miss for us because we don't always hit on those draft picks, obviously. And we save some money to get what are we bringing in? Well, nothing that's going to be significant.
And aside from that, like, it was a second and a fourth, right? The Ravens could have given that up. If they could have thrown in a third next year and not hurt themselves at all because they have a third round comp pick for David Culley being signed. And, obviously they're going to get, we think, some more comp picks for, Judon and Ngakoue and whatnot. It's like I said, it's just that they didn't want Julio. They don't want to pay for offensive weapons. They just don't.
That's all it is. I mean, yes, you waited until the very last minute to sign Sammy Watkins because he was literally the last person available, and you can get him for dirt cheap, right? You just didn't put a lot of effort into it. Like, okay, we got Rashad Bateman, and I give him props for that, right? You got Rashad Bateman, but he's a rookie, and you just can't rely on him right now. You can't say, hey, I expect that he's going to be good enough to get us over the hump in the playoffs. We don't know what he can do yet.
Right. So, and the same thing with Tylan Wallace. I like the Tylan Wallace pick, but he's a fourth round pick.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What are you really expecting out of your fourth round pick this year?
Right. Now, have we got somebody like Julio Jones? I will have high expectations because Julio Jones has proven it. Right?
Yes.
Regular season, postseason, and Super Bowl that he is that guy. And we don't have anybody on the team that's proven like he is, even right now. Right. Yes, I know he missed a few games last year, and everybody thinks, oh, well, he won't be healthy going into the postseason. I mean, look, we've never had a wide receiver the caliber of Julio Jones right now. Right. We've never had anybody close to that. So that's a missed opportunity. It wouldn't have cost us a whole lot to get him. And, I mean, look, you guys are going to be seeing that T-shirt come out pretty soon, man. Hashtag defund the defense, because we just didn't do enough this offseason. Right, in my opinion. Yeah, well, could we get past the Titans? Yeah, we can get past the Titans, but like B said, it's not about the Titans. It's about the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Thank God they didn't get them. Thank God they didn't get him. But it is about the Chiefs. Do you feel comfortable today playing the Chiefs in the playoffs? Like, do you think right now we're a better team than the Chiefs? If the answer is no, we didn't do enough.
Yeah, I see G-Star saying this is like the Boston Celtics with Danny Ainge, and I like that a lot because they're a team that accumulated a lot of assets. They had a lot of draft picks. They had a lot of young players, and the point of doing that was to package those guys up and go get a superstar player to build your team around. And then they got cold feet, and they couldn't do it.
And then they then
they went 500 this year and got bounced in the first round, and he lost his job.
Well, not just that, they got bounced by the team that they fleeced to get all those assets, right? And that team built a super team around them. So I mean, it's I don't want us to be that. Jonathan Washington Jr., thank you for joining the live stream. Figures that the team with less cap space than the Ravens gets Julio for a bag of chips. The reports of how close the Ravens will come out in a couple of hours. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. You can't look. I said it before. We're past the point of trying, right? On offense, we always try. On defense, we get it done. If we don't get it done the first time, we circle back around and get it done the second time. On offense, the trying is like, we're done with that. Like, you need to make it happen. And like I said, we're all happy about Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace. It's not enough. It's just not enough. The Titans are trying to go all in to win now. Mm-hmm. Yes, you could say, hey, the defense isn't good or wasn't good last year. They only need to be marginally better.
Yeah,
they only need to be just marginally better. Slow down the other team just a little bit more, and they have the weapons on offense to outscore anybody. Like, that's talent right there. Yeah. You have two all-pro caliber wide receivers, obviously an all-pro caliber running back, and you have a capable quarterback. I see somebody here saying, No. Ron TV saying Tannehill over Lamar. Come on, EDC. Yeah, but I know some people are kind of crapping on Tannehill on Twitter, but Tannehill is a solid quarterback.
Yeah. He's a good quarterback. No, he's not better than Lamar. He's not as good as Lamar, but he doesn't have to be. He's got AJ Brown and Julio Jones, and he can turn around and hand the ball to Derrick Henry. He doesn't have to be Lamar.
Right.
Lamar has to be who he is because they don't have proven skill position players in Baltimore.
Yeah, or good enough coaching. And now Chris Hall says now the top tier wide receiver are all gone. No Diggs, Hopkins, now Julio. There's no more elite wide receivers that are unhappy with their current situations we can trade for. And also AB. Yeah. We also didn't get AB. I told you, like this last 2 years, we've had opportunities to get wide receivers that you would never been able to get in the past. Never.
And we'll see how long Michael Thomas is happy with the combination of Jameis and Taysom Hill. But it doesn't matter because Baltimore wouldn't trade for him anyway.
Well, right. And, everybody that's saying, well, we don't have enough cap space. One, it's not true. We have enough cap. But two, if Khalil Mack were available today, do you think the Ravens wouldn't do whatever it took to get Khalil Mack?
Yep.
You know what I mean? If Aaron Donald was available today, you think they wouldn't do whatever it takes to get him? They were rumors were they were kind of kicking the tires on JJ Watt,
right?
Trying to bring him in. So Tough Puppy's here. Okay, what's going on, Tough Puppy? Yeah. Mikey brings up Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is another person that might be on the move. Yeah, I agree, and we probably won't get him.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think they'll get all of that. They'll get that taken care of. I just want to say we did get a cash app from Millionaire Quan. Then they couldn't do better than a second and a fourth. Apparently not. I mean, they could have. They didn't want to.
Yeah,
they just don't want to.
They could have. Yeah. B said it. B said it. They'll say that they tried, and it just. They got outbid or whatever. They'll make up some excuse. But like I said, the excuses for not getting it done on offense, that's over with. Rosita Beast, Ryan Tannehill is top 15 QB with 2 number 1 wide receivers and the best running back in the league. Yeah, he doesn't have to be Peyton. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Let's see. Spirit of Ogun. Yeah. Imagine a core of Julio, Bateman, Andrews, Hollywood, Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, Watkins. That core would get you a Super Bowl. I'm pissed. I'd rather get Julio than Houston. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what we've been saying for the last couple of years. Because it's not just Julio. It's Stephon Diggs, it's DeAndre Hopkins, it's Antonio Brown. Any of these guys elevates Baltimore. They've had a top 5 defense. The last 3 years. They've had a top 5 offense until they get to the playoffs because they didn't have the skill on the outside to make defenses respect them. They didn't have receivers who could beat the defense, and their run game got shut down. You bring in any of those receivers who have been available over the last few years, and Baltimore probably already has a championship.
Yeah, a lot of frustration here in the chat, man. Yes, Devontae Adams in purple. Yes, I would love to see that Tough Puppy, but that's not going to happen. Let's just be real about it. Let's be real about what kind of team we have here, what organization that we have. They just don't care about offense. They don't. They've shown you at every turn that they just don't care. They got a first round wide receiver, and that's fine. Bateman looks good. But what they had to do, they had to wash out that bad taste of an offensive player with a project on defense with a second first round pick. All right, like they don't want to invest like that in offense. They don't. Deshaun is in the house. What's going on, Deshaun? This is sick, man. Of all the teams, it had to be the Titans. EDC's complacency results in another conference rival getting better weapons than Lamar. Absolutely. I mean, that's another thing, right? Like another conference rival. You have Pat Mahomes with Tyreek Hill, and you got Kelsey, all right?
Yeah, and you got Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley.
Yes, yeah. Now now Tannehill already had AJ Brown, and now it's AJ Brown and Julio, and these are guys that are constantly in the playoffs. Even the Browns, they still have Odell,
Well, yeah, now New England's got Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith,
Yeah,
Aguilar, and Kendrick Bourne they brought in this offseason.
yeah. Baha, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining the live stream. Shaheen is in the house. Thank you for joining the live stream, Shaheen. These are the same guys who didn't pay Zadarius Smith and then paid a ton of money to Tavon Young and Earl Thomas. Yes. Yeah. That's another thing, too. They don't care about edge rushers, right? I don't think we've ever really discussed that. The Ravens do not care about edge rushers. Like, that's just not their philosophy on defense anymore. It's all about building a strong secondary. And I can't even say that they're wrong about that.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go. Teams are throwing the ball as quickly as they can. Like, that's everybody in the NFL. So edge rushers generally don't have a chance to get there. Most of the time they don't.
Yeah.
But if you load up in the secondary and you can, delay the pass coming out, then your rush can get there. But, you have to have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters and Jimmy Smith, to be able to do that. So that's the route they're going. And that's fine. But you also need to pay attention to the other side of the ball.
Yeah. What's going on, Living Legend? Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, Baha. Lamar has a chance to be special this entire season. He's still going to be special. I mean, Lamar is going to be fine. It's not about Lamar's performance. Lamar, with what he has right now, I think will still be in the running for MVP. Okay, he's that great of a player, but it's not just about that. Like, we already know what he can do in terms of that. We know what this team can do in the regular season. It's about the postseason. Do we have enough weapons and enough experience to make a run in the postseason? And I don't think we do. I think the answer is no, right? I mean, again, we're relying on rookies and second, a couple of third-year players to get this team to the Super Bowl. Nah, man. Nah, this is a grown man's game. You don't win that way.
I feel like it's Spiro Goon saying Tannehill's a top 10 QB with a great core now. He definitely pushed the needle for them. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. I think that it's possible that that Baltimore has enough. I mean, if Bateman, lives up to expectations, if Hollywood takes that next step that everybody expects him to take, if Sammy Watkins decides he wants to play football this year, they have enough. But it's about making sure. It's not hoping. It's about doing everything that you can do, to put your team in a position to win. And Baltimore consistently doesn't do that.
Yeah. Click one. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining the live stream. Yeah, like we just have this underdog mentality here in Baltimore, man, that I can't stand. Like, we want to do more with less. Like, this idea of, like, let's float under the radar and have everybody doubt us and we sneak up on teams. Man, that doesn't get you consistent wins in the NFL, man. It doesn't. Like, stack up, be the man, and be prepared to take on anybody. Because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They expect to be back in the Super Bowl for the third year in a row. They're not hoping for anything.
Right.
The minute they lost the Super Bowl, Tyreek Hill said, "We'll catch them next year."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no doubt in their mind that they're going back. That's the type of confidence I want here in Baltimore.
I see I got Garnett saying it's going to be okay. Relax, like Aaron Rodgers. And listen, nobody's saying it's not going to be okay. Yeah, they're a good team. They'll be in the playoffs. But again, it's just about looking around at the contenders in the league and seeing them go all out to win, and then looking at Baltimore and seeing that they don't do that.
No. What's the benefit of not getting Julio Jones? Garnett, let me ask you something. Like, we all think regular season Ravens are going to be fine as is right now. They're going to be fine. But when we get to the playoffs and we have to play the Chiefs right now, today, do you feel like we could beat the Chiefs? You think we're a better team than the Chiefs today? Because I don't think so. And that's the point, right? Even the Bills, I'm not sure if we're better than the Bills today, right? The Bills got better on offense. So if we're not better than the Bills or the Chiefs, we haven't done enough.
Shaheen out here saying we don't have a good secondary either. We have two mediocre safety, and Marcus Peter gets burned all the time. We should have drafted Tavon Mooring instead of Owe. Listen, Shaheen, they have the best secondary in the league.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
mean, like,
who would you put up against them?
they don't have any edge rushers in that, and you're saying they don't have a good secondary. How have they managed to be a top defense for the last 3 years?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, man. Like our defense is really good. Our defense is really good. When I say hashtag defund the defense, right?
I said, let's worry about our pockets instead of looking at everybody else's. Man, you're playing against them. Like, it matters what everybody else does.
So when we go to play these teams every week, we just say, hey, don't worry about what's on the team. Just go out there and play. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you got to see what they have. No, we are worried about them. But we're not even talking about the NFC. We're talking about the AFC, dude. Like, we have to go through these teams to get to the Super Bowl. We have to. The Chiefs are going to be in the playoffs. The Bills are going to be in the playoffs. Probably the Patriots. The Patriots might win the East. Right? The Browns will probably be back in the playoffs. Like, these teams are stacked up on offense. And a lot of these teams have players that all those wide receiver cores that I just named are better than ours. Flat out. They're better than ours. That's a problem. That's a problem. And they put up points and we can't answer like what happened last year, what happened the year before that, what happened the year before that. Then we get into the offseason, we start talking about, we didn't execute well, or so-and-so dropped the ball, or, we just need to play a little bit better. And, it's always that going into the offseason. But when are we going to sit there and say EDC has to get us some better players? That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah. I see you going again saying the Chiefs defense is not all that good, especially in the secondary. And they've been to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Man.
Yeah. What does it matter?
It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 2 years in a row they've been to the Super Bowl, and in the year before that, their first Super Bowl, they're in the AFC Championship game. They expect to get back to the Super Bowl, and honestly, okay, you can say the defense isn't good, but I asked you, do you think we're a better team than them today? All right, I don't think so. Oh, Tanja's in the house. What's going on, Tanja?
What's up, Tanja? We got Noah Driscoll in the house also.
Oh man, hold on. Yeah, Noah's in the house. What's going on, Noah? It only took a second round pick and a late rounder to get Julio. The EDC we trust, right? Nope.
Jonathan
Not
Washington says we signed Devin Gray. We got the Falcons wide receiver we wanted.
Oh,
that's true. There it is.
Right. Yeah. Like, why are we wasting time with that pick or that signing? Like, what's the point of that? I mean, like, seriously, like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. I thought we had enough wide receivers on the team already. Troy Grubb. Oh, let's go on there. I truly believe people are just overreacting. It's not overreaction. Being frustrated. Like, what do you mean by overreacting? Like, nobody here is saying that we're not making the playoffs. Nobody's saying that we don't have a shot. What I'm saying is, yes, we are regular season. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna win a lot of games. We'll probably win a division. I still think we'll win a division, but it's not about that for us. We got to have higher expectations. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And
not going after Julio Jones, it's just another miss. And if you think we're a Super Bowl contender, like we're better than the Chiefs, we're better than the Bills, you're kidding yourself. We're not. We're gonna, and this is gonna be debated all season because we're gonna look good in the regular season, but when we get to the playoffs is when we're gonna have that issue. Who was I gonna read? Troy Grubb. Honestly, I am tired of us missing out on Hopkins, Diggs, Jones, and the Ravens being cheap on offense. Yeah, because that's the other thing too. We missed out on all these great players on offense, and it's like, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. But if we were doing it on the defensive side, you would not be okay with it.
Yeah. Garnet saying it when the previous times they played the Chiefs, it was more of bad coaching than anything. That's not true. The Chiefs flat out outplayed Baltimore. And he said the same thing when they played the Bills, and that's fine. But the coaches are back.
The coaches are back. They're not going anywhere. And how do you overcome bad coaching with better talent? And you can make up any excuse that you want, but they stay beating us. Like, and it's been that way for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you can make up any excuse you want. We're not winning. And the only way we can have a chance is by adding more talent, getting better on that side of the ball. because it always comes down to our offense didn't do enough. We're not out here saying, hey, the defense just didn't do their job. It's always we didn't do enough on offense.
Well, yeah, and that's what I always ask Ravens fans is how many years in a row is it let's just run it back and do the same thing? When you're not producing, when you get to the playoffs, because it's been the same story 3 years in a row in the playoffs. It's the offense can't get it done. And then every offseason, I hear from a lot of Ravens fans, well, let's just run it back and do it again.
Yeah. I mean, he's saying he's not going to overreact to Julio. Nobody's overreacting, man. Like showing your frustration over not getting a great player. It's normal to be frustrated. It's okay to be frustrated over that. Julio is way better than anything we have on this team. I know you're big on Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman, I said this on live stream before. It's a good chance he will never be the player Julio Jones is today, right now. And that's not saying he's going to be bad at all. He could be a very good wide receiver. He could be an excellent wide receiver. He could have a great career. And he may never, he'll most likely never be the player Julio Jones is. Never.
No,
that's the kind of player Julio Jones is.
No, this poor Rashad Bateman better be putting up Justin Jefferson numbers this year or we toast.
That ain't going to happen. I don't think we're toast.
I don't think he's got to do that. They need, with them not bringing in a guy like Julio, they need another step from Hollywood. They need Bateman to play well. They need Watkins to play well, and they need some contribution from Tylan Wallace. It's not like, Baltimore can't win now. It's just that they're making it harder on themselves for no reason. They could put some effort into the offense, and they would be the far and away favorites to come out of the AFC and go to the Super Bowl, and they just refuse to do it. They like to just get by on offense. They want to build the defense exactly how they envision it in their minds, and then when they look at the offense, they say, "We've got a superstar in Lamar. We can run the ball, and they'll just figure it out."
Like Garnett, you keep bringing up like the money, and it's not just you. I don't mean to pick on you, Garnett. You're one of our regulars, man, and we appreciate your contribution to the show. But Tennessee's eating up all the money. Like, what do you care about the money? Like you just said, don't pocket watch. Like, what do you care about the money? Like, they can afford it. What is it that they're missing out on by signing by taking on that cap for Julio Jones? Because keep in mind, the cap is about to explode next year, right? Like, they just had to come out to an agreement saying, hey, let's get the ceiling. Let's keep the ceiling to this amount so it doesn't go further than that, because they expect it to blow up. The highest it's ever blown up.
Garnett says he loves Julio Jones. He's his favorite receiver. I agree. He makes us a lot better, but at the end of the day, he's not on our team.
True.
Okay.
True.
Well, but no. Not true. I mean, it's true that he's not on the team, but no. Then don't ever talk about any player acquisition. Then, don't ever talk about what they should do or could do. Just wait and see what happens, and then say, hey, it's fine. We're reacting to him not being on the team.
Yeah. Look. I understand.
He easily could have been.
Garnett, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're coming from. It's, hey, what can we do about it? Like, we can't sit here and cry about it. But it literally just happened, bro. Like, that's why we're doing this live stream. You know what I'm saying? We're just reacting to news that just happened. When the season starts, when the games are underway, that's the time to say, hey, look, what's done is done. Our team is what it is, and let's go out there and try to win. But it's the off season. This is a time where we're able to correct some of the flaws in our team. And this is a time to vent and rant about your team and try to apply pressure to them as a fan base to make the right moves. This is a time to vent about it, not when a regular season starts, because you literally can't do anything once the games are being played.
Mr. J says, I'm smiling because the Panthers don't have to deal with that twice a year now. Still have flashbacks.
But a 300-yard game?
300. Yes. Thank you, Mr. J, for coming through and bringing that up. Appreciate that.
Yeah. QT0, the same thing. Win-win for the Panthers. Yes. Look, for the
I
Ravens
was so high on Ben Wickery, and then Julio happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, for a Ravens flock that haven't really watched Julio Jones, just ask the Panthers fans in the chat. They'll tell you all about Julio. That 300-yard game, 300 yards in one game. Go and look that up. And tell me hey, we didn't, we're good. We don't need that.
That
Noah
was
said,
disgusting. Like,
what?
I love Julio Jones. I love watching him. I love watching great players, but man, it had to be against Carolina. It
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah, I feel he said he can't get over the fact it only took a second rounder, man. That's always a story. Like, cause that's the other thing too. It's not just about not getting Julio Jones, man. It's Julio Jones. It's Hopkins. It's Diggs. I mean, it's even what's his name in the other wide receiver in Minnesota, Thielen.
Thielen.
It's Thielen. It's
I mean,
Emmanuel Sanders. It's
no one
Robbie
mentioned
Anderson.
Justin Jefferson. They could have potentially had Justin Jefferson.
It's
They
T
could have
Higgins.
had T Higgins. Like,
Yeah, it's AB.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about top wide receivers, yo. Top wide receivers, and I mean, I don't know if you're noticing the trend, but these teams that we're talking about that we had to get past are stacking up on offense, right? These guys have two good wide receivers. Yo, Josh Allen has two good wide receivers. Baker has two good wide receivers. Mahomes, he's got two good. He's got one of the best tight ends and one of the best wide receivers in the league. Now Tannehill has two good wide receivers.
Allen Robinson and Kenny Galladay as well. Allen. I don't want to crush him for Allen Robinson because who knows? Maybe Chicago really just was not going to move him.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably the case. They got Justin Fields. Good for them. They're trying to get that together. But yeah, they could have went and got Kenny Galladay.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if we're doing this on the defensive side, you would not be okay with it. You would not be okay with it if we kept missing out on top players on the defensive side. You would have a major problem with it, right? And we need to focus more on the offense than the defense. The defense is fine right now. Like there's no issue on defense. I know you guys say edge rushers, but edge rushers, like they'll be fine without top tier edge rushers. Our secondary is what makes the defense work, and they're really good. Troy says, if cannot land a top receiver now, imagine how much harder it will be once Lamar Jackson signs his big contract, likely next offseason. We failed Lamar in his rookie contract, in my opinion. We absolutely did.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely did. We squandered it. And look, like, we got to see how Rashad Bateman plays. I think Rashad Bateman's going to be fine right now. To Garnett's point, we're not jumping off the deep end. Right. I think we have a good young wide receiver core. I think Bateman and Hollywood will be good, but we're talking about this year, right? I'm not talking about 2, 3, 4 years down the road. I'm talking about right now. They're too young. They're just too young and they're unproven to feel comfortable saying we have enough on offense to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we've talked about this offline as well. The problem with going with like Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace and saying, "Hey, we're gonna get big contributions from these guys," even if we're sitting here at the end of the regular season and they both played really well, they could get to the playoffs and lay an egg. Like, it's a different animal, right? Like, you saw Chris Godwin, who's been a really good wide receiver for a few years, got into his first playoff game and dropped everything that came his way.
Yeah.
It's just different. And in the NFL, it only takes a couple of missed opportunities in a game and you're going home.
Yeah. Ravi says Atlanta didn't go to a recent Super Bowl with Julio. Yes, they did.
I guess it depends on your definition of recent. They had the 28-3 game.
What year was that?
I'm not even sure how many years ago that was, though.
Wasn't that long ago.
Not that long, but but also to that point, Baltimore hasn't won a Super Bowl either, and they haven't gone.
True.
So
yeah, they've gone more recently than Baltimore has. I mean, what do you do with that? Keenan Ricketts, man, I see your comments in here. Appreciate you coming through. That's what I'm saying, bro. EDC can close deals. Yeah. I don't know what all goes on behind the scenes, but he's the guy that has the title of GM. He's the one that's getting this praise of an EDC we trust. So he has to get criticized. I've said it before. Stop disrespecting Ozzy by this ridiculous moniker of an EDC we trust. EDC has to prove something before we give him that, and he hasn't done anything really, in my opinion, to get that kind of respect. So we gotta stop saying that. So here's the thing. If you're glad we didn't get him because you think, hey, he's going to cost too much money, what do you think we should do with the money that we're saving? Apparently, all right. Justin Houston, he's still out there. Like, that's another thing, because I keep hearing the name Justin Houston. What do you guys think Justin Houston's going to do for this team? Right? There's a reason why he's still available today. Right? He can't play anymore. Like, he doesn't provide anything meaningful for this team. He's not going to make that really any difference on the defense. No. Devon says Ozzy would have gotten Julio. Look, he may not have gotten Julio, but he would have made up for it on the defensive side, right? Like, Ozzy was a defensive guy too. He may not have gotten Julio, but he may have gotten somebody on the defensive side for us to be like, all right, fine.
How excited are all of you for the Ravens to trade a 3rd-round pick for Zach Ertz next week?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. They will, and we'll sit here and act like, oh, that's a better deal because he's cheaper than Julio, and he better fits our offense. And I mean, okay, yeah, and you get what you pay for, guys. You get what you pay for, right? When the first thing that comes out your mouth about players, he's cheaper. That's what you're paying for. Okay, you're not paying for production. You're not paying for clutch plays. You're paying for a cheaper product. Mr. J says the Cardinals and the Bengals got the memo that you can't have too many dominant pass catchers. Yeah. Assuming Higgins takes the step up, Chase turns out to be a beast. AJ bounces back and Moore is used right. You're right, man. You're right. Let's see. Garnett says Justin Houston will not fit our scheme, just like Yannick. We are all about hybrid edge rushers. Okay, so it's not Houston. So what do we need to save this money for? Paying Lamar. I mean, yeah. I mean, once we pay Lamar, like, doesn't take up all of our cap room, right? We'll have cap. Like, what are we saving this money for that we're not spending on Julio Jones? Cheaper players, right? What player are we going to look to sign that's better than Julio Jones?
They're not going to do anything with the money. That's always the case.
Yeah. What's going on, King of Pugo? Ozzy would have traded up for Devontae. He loves Bama boys. Now, that I agree with. That I agree with. And that was my whole thing, too. We had 2 first-round picks, and we did the draft simulator right before the draft. That was actually pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with that. And we traded up to get Devontae Smith, I think. I think we did that.
Yeah.
But I did want us to be aggressive. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I mean, that's just not what they do. But I want us to be aggressive and trade up to get one of those special type of players. Now, look, we ended up with Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman may be better than Devontae Smith at the end of the day, So we gotta wait and see. But they're just never aggressive when it comes to the offense. Never.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, leading up to the draft, through free agency, we had said we didn't want them to draft a wide receiver in the 1st round period. Go and get somebody can play. Because, yeah, we're all excited about Rashad Bateman, but he could very well not work out.
Yeah, Garner says it's been officially announced. Atlanta gets 2022 2nd-round pick and 2023 4th-round pick. Yep. Tennessee gets Julio Jones and 2023 6th-round pick. There you go. There it is. That was the high price they had to pay. Troy says, I think we will be fine in the regular season. Once playoff time hits, if these young receivers lay an egg in a playoff game, we are likely going home. Julio Jones would have made us better. Yes, that's the point. Mm-hmm. That's the point. I don't have any doubts really about Rashad Bateman in his career as a wide receiver. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver for us. I think he might be the best wide receiver we've ever drafted. Mm-hmm. All right. But we're talking about this year. Are we trying to win this year or not? That's what it comes down to. Are we trying to win this year, or are we just kind of punting down the line, a few years, and saying, hey, in a couple of years, that's going to be our time to make a run. If we're trying to win this year, there are players available to help us get there. Rashad Bateman ain't ready to take us there, and I don't think Hollywood is either.
Yeah. And I agree with that. But more to the point, because it's not even just about Julio Jones. It's about the philosophy in Baltimore of trying to get by with just the absolute bare minimum on offense.
Yep.
And, sometimes you'll get lucky. Rashad Bateman fell to Baltimore and they got him, and that's great. And maybe he works out. But most of the time, that's going to bite you. You're going to get guys like Miles Boykin. You're going to go to the playoffs and find out, hey, we really can't move the ball when we need to.
Yeah. And that's the frustrating thing, right? That's the frustrating thing because, seriously, what can you expect from young wide receivers that don't have that much experience? Hollywood's got more playoff experience, right? He's been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. I expect a little bit more out of him, but Bateman's a rookie. So when he gets to the playoffs, and it's a different beast, right? You're playing better teams. They're playing faster. They're being more physical, and he doesn't know how to adjust. Can you blame him? It's his first time there. He's gonna play like a rookie. I expect that, and I'm not gonna be mad at that. I'm gonna be mad at this organization for not having a player that can step up in that moment when they had the opportunity to. I'm gonna be mad at this coaching staff that can't make any adjustments in game to mitigate that fact, right? They're just lay the egg like they've been doing the last 2 or 3 years.
Living Legend asking, do we expect Sammy Watkins to contribute in the playoffs? Man, I don't know what to expect from Sammy Watkins. He's got all the talent in the world, but much like people will say about Julio Jones, he's actually got injury problems, and I think he's also got motivation problems.
That's the thing, man. Like that's the knock on Julio has been injuries. I think that's been overblown.
Yeah,
but the guy that we think is going to help us out definitely has injury concerns. And like B said, I think it's half injuries, it's half motivation. I think you look at Sammy Watkins, man. Sammy Watkins, talent wise, could be that dude. And he's still young enough to be able to be that guy. And I don't think he's had any injuries to hinder him from becoming that, right? I don't think he's had any major injuries to hinder him from being just an amazing wide receiver. He could very well be that. And he shows flashes of that still. Every now and then he'll have a game and you'll think, man, Sammy Watkins, he's the man, right? But I think it's a combination of he doesn't want to play through a lot of injuries, right? He gets dinged up and he just doesn't want to play through them. And also, he's made a lot of money. He's got himself a ring. He's done everything that he wanted to do in this game, man. Not everybody is passionate about the game like that. And I just don't see it from Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, Just Alone says Sammy Watkins isn't good. And I want to disagree with that. But it's true, right? Like, being good isn't the same as being talented. He is talented. But you have to, show you have to put in the work, you got to show up, and you got to produce to be good.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that Sammy's been doing.
Yeah. Keenan says, but they've gotten the veteran guy at wide receiver before when they got Bolden. I agree. Not just a veteran. They got one of the top wide receivers in the league. Bolden was one of the top wide receivers in the league. We trade for him? I think we traded for him. Bolden was the man, right? He didn't get 1,000 yards in the offense in Baltimore, but he was that caliber of wide receiver, right? We don't need necessarily Julio to come in and get 1,400 yards. It's just the plays that he's able to make. He's that caliber of wide receiver. When we need to pick up a first down, when we need to get that touchdown, we need to move the ball down the field. Julio Jones can make those plays, right? It's about the caliber, not always about the stats. All right, Mr. J says, sad to say, but Sammy is going to get injured somehow, and Bateman is going to grow up quick and be the number 2 or number 3 option, depending on where you rank Andrews in Hollywood.
Yeah, I would expect Bateman to be their number 2 wide receiver from day one. Honestly, I don't think Sammy's gonna. I pause a little bit just because I know the coaching staff doesn't really like and trust young players, but I would expect Bateman to be outplaying Sammy Watkins right from the start.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I think Sammy Watkins. I don't know, maybe like a fourth option. Like we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's hard to say with Sammy Watkins. He definitely has the talent, and he's young enough still to where Sammy Watkins could be the number one. He's talented enough to be a number one wide receiver. Like that's the crazy thing about Sammy Watkins. He is talented enough to be the man coming in this year. That wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. But
for the record, I would be extremely shocked if he actually did it.
I wouldn't be shocked, man. I wouldn't, because he's good enough to do it, but he just doesn't do it. It's weird with him. He just doesn't do it. Devon Allen says, I would love to hear what you guys think about these other Ravens fans wanting all these tight ends. Man, that's just the way they're conditioned to play football here or to watch football. I think that's part of the problem why Ravens fans don't get excited or too emotional about wide receivers, because they just don't understand what kind of wide receivers are out there, like what a great wide receiver looks like. Davon is in the house. What's going on, man?
Davon?
Thanks for coming through. He said once we signed the practice squad receiver, we knew what was up. Yeah. He said tighten up. That's a fact. Yes, but we've never had a caliber wide receiver. I mean, the closest thing was Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden was a great wide receiver, but we haven't had anything nearly resembling Julio Jones. Like, we don't watch that many Julio Jones games. I mean, me and B have, because B's a Panthers fan, and Julio Jones has terrorized that team for years, right? But you guys you have no idea. You have no idea what kind of receiver he is, even right now, all right? And some of the comments that I see on Twitter and stuff, and just from other YouTubers, that tells me, like, we have no idea what he can do.
Jay Wilson, they said Deion Kane was looking good in OTAs.
I forgot about Deion Kane.
I forgot about it too. He was a draft Twitter darling for until he tore his ACL.
Look, man, all these guys are on the team. I'm rooting for them, and I hope they prove me wrong. But I have a simple question, man. I've asked it like 5 times already. Do you guys think, and I want you guys, I want everybody in the chat, LBHT crew, I want you to put in the chat, do you think today, I know it's early and reckless, right? Do you think today we are a better team than the Chiefs and or the Bills? That's a simple question. Do you think we're better than either one of those teams?
Yeah, I'm going to give my answer. They're absolutely not better than the Chiefs. I think they're probably also not better than Buffalo, but I think they can beat Buffalo.
Yeah. I think we're capable of beating Buffalo. I don't think we'll beat the Chiefs. Keenan says no. Mr. J says no. Negative. Nope. Click One says we're not better than either of them. Okay. Living Legend says no. Oh, Poonjet, I know Poonjet doesn't think we're better. Poonjet, do you think we're better than the Browns?
Yeah, no. Put that in the chat now. Are the Ravens better than the Browns? What do y'all think?
Hey, thanks for coming through, Poonjet.
Because again, on paper, they're not better than Cleveland.
That's a good point.
On the field, I think they're going to beat the brakes off of Cleveland twice. But on paper, they are not better than Cleveland.
I don't think we're going to beat the brakes off them. I think we're going to beat them in heartbreaking fashion.
I think they're going to beat the brakes off of them so that Cleveland fans don't start assuming too much based off of that last game when Lamar had to come in and save the day. They're gonna set Cleveland fans back on the right path this season.
Hey, Pooh and Jim, what are your expectations for the Browns this year? I think they're a playoff team again. I do.
That's going to be really tough because, I mean, you look around the AFC and there's a lot of teams who you look at and say, yeah, I think they're a playoff team. But, I think New England will be in there. I think the Chargers will challenge for a spot. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for those wild card teams to get in.
Yeah. So Jay Will and Living Legend both think we could be better than the Bills. Not the Chiefs. Nobody's saying we're better than the Chiefs. And that's the thing, man. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere. They expect to go back to the Super Bowl. they're the team that we're going to ultimately have to get past if we're trying to win a Super Bowl. And nobody thinks we're better than them. And it's not even a hesitation. Right? Like Sanju thinks we're not better than the Chiefs, we're better than Buffalo. Okay. Well, Jimmy Dean thinks we can beat all of them. We got somebody here who thinks we can beat all of them. I mean, we can beat anybody on any given day, right? Like that's possible. But do you think we're better than them? That's a different question.
Yeah. Also, you got to be watching out for Denver, possibly making a playoff push. So I mean, it's going to be tough to get in the AFC.
Okay. Poonjet thinks playoffs for the Browns. I think so too. Poonjet. I think they're a playoff team. Devon says before Lamar left that game, we were up 2 touchdowns. Which game?
He's talking about the second game where Lamar had to have his cramps worked out, and then come back and throw that touchdown pass. That was so disrespectful, man. Like he walked out the bathroom onto the field on 4th down and threw a touchdown pass.
It was.
And how disrespectful of Harbaugh and Roman, like the most conservative coaches to call a pass play on that 4th down.
I'm not 100% sure that they called a pass play. I feel like they might have called, hey, just run it, run it for a 1st down, and then he just saw. I think Lamar improvised there. If we're being honest, I don't think that was drawn up. I think that was, hey, Lamar, just run and get that 1st down. And Lamar looked upfield, and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna throw it.
If I were a Browns fan and I watched that happen live, I would never believe again.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate this. You put the pronunciation in there. Pronounce emphasis. I appreciate that because I'm about to say emphasis. Okay. Thank you for that emphasis. Thank you. I think we're better than Kansas City and Buffalo for 2.5 quarters. The rest of that game, shaking my head. Yeah. Great comment, man. Thank you for joining the live stream, man. I appreciate that, man. Mr. J says Brown secondary has some potential to be dominant if everybody stay healthy and Newsome shows potential. The Browns could be scary. They were well coached last year. I'll give them that. They're well coached. This is a big year for Baker. This is a big year.
Listen, Jen, I'm not sleeping on Cleveland. I just don't think they're better than Baltimore. That's all.
Yeah. No. I don't think so either. But yeah, I think they're a playoff team. Tonda says, right, Devon, people don't remember that. What did I miss?
He's talking
about being up 2 games. 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's true. Kingbird 56 says, only thing make me happy with EDC is if we get Allen Robinson. Only thing to make me happy. Look, I think Ravens fans are going to be happy for most of the season. I think we're going to win a lot of games. I think it's going to be an entertaining year. It's going to be similar to the 14-2 season, Lamar's MVP season. We're going to have a fun year, right? And we're going to be saying, not us, but Ravens flock's going to be saying, oh, see, we don't need Julio. The offense is great. Offense is fine. We don't need Julio. We didn't need all this stuff. The offense is great. And then when we get to the postseason, you're going to see why we need those type of players. All right. I think we're going to fall short. That's just my prediction right now. But we'll see. I mean, obviously I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be one of those seasons that it'll be entertaining. It'll be fun. They'll look great, but there'll be a pall over the season because like Davon is saying, every Ravens fan is going to be thinking all year long, what about the playoffs though?
Yeah. I hate EDC. Don't ever say in EDC we trust again. You're telling me the Titans only gave up a second in the 4th. Yeah. Like, I don't hate EDC. That's another thing too. I think EDC is going to be good for this organization. I think he's going to be a good GM. But if we're just talking about what he's done so far, no. He hasn't done nearly enough to be put on that pedestal of in EDC we trust. You got to hold these guys accountable. We were critical of Ozzy too. Don't get it wrong. We weren't on the air then, but me and B used to talk about it. We will always point out the things that Ozzy would do wrong.
What's going on, Eric L? Thanks for coming through.
Hey, what's going on?
So what's up? Sad news about the Titans trade today. Mr. Lamar Jackson deserves much better. Agreed. Yes. And I told us even before we started this channel, my fear with Baltimore was that we're going to watch a repeat of what happened with Cam Newton in Carolina. And it's not as bad as that, but they are kind of going down that road a bit where they look. And this is the thing that happens with a lot of really talented, particularly black quarterbacks. Teams look at them and they say, hey, you can handle the offense. It's all on you. You got that. And we'll build the defense.
Well, it's that, and also it's, we just don't really believe in their ability to throw the ball. We don't think they're cerebral enough. Like this is deep rooted in the NFL. And there was a story out there. B&B meant to talk about it on the show a couple weeks ago about this lawsuit with the NFL and how they're treating some of the black players that with their payouts, right? They had this cognitive testing to see how much they decline due to what you call it,
CTE or
CTE.
Head trauma, basically.
Head trauma, and they basically said that black players are naturally dumber. That's pretty much what the NFL stands for. They're race norming. They're naturally dumber, so they have to have an even lower score than the white players on this cognitive test, right? And they've managed to not pay a lot of black players by doing that. So they recently came out and said they're not going to do that anymore because it got exposed. But this is the stance that the NFL has always had. And this is something that the NFL has always believed in, and it passes on to the coaches. Coaches passes up, they pass it on to their kids because this is a league of nepotism, right? So the kids have the same beliefs. Friends that they hire had the same beliefs. It's deep rooted in NFL that black quarterbacks aren't smart enough. And I think we're seeing some of that now, even with the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, that they just don't believe he can make all the throws, even though he shows you that he can.
Yeah.
So, all right. Here you go. See, Kingbird says, Jose and Brodny, do you think race card in this Lamar Jackson? Yeah, man. Look, I don't think, I know. We just talked about that story. Like, that's not, we didn't make that up. Like they said, the NFL, that's their official stance, that black players are dumber. That's their thought process. Race always factors in, man. Like, I hate to say it, but it does, Do y'all think NFL block trade secretly? No. Block what trade?
We got another Cash App, an anonymous Cash App. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Hey, and guys, also, since we didn't mention it, I didn't even put the ticker up, man. Look, I was so frustrated today. I was supposed to put this ticker up at the beginning of the stream.
Well, everybody see, but that's good now because now everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't even put the black background or anything. I'm all flustered. But if you guys want your highlighted comment, we don't do super chats. So in replace the super chat, right above B, we have the Cash App. I don't even have the right graphic up. My goodness, I'm all messed up. It's nothing's right today. Nothing's right. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but then I didn't.
You know why? You know why? I'm gonna show you guys something. This is why we have higher quality shows have producers. I'm gonna show you something. Okay. With this background,
I just got to stop you there because what higher quality show?
Well, yeah.
Those don't exist.
Higher budget. My bad.
There you go.
My bad. Higher budget shows. Look, this graphic right here, right? You see, you see the logo. Then I add this overlay, and then you can see the $ LBHT show, right? But because it's in white. It's in white. It's for the black background. But if I put it to this, then you can't see it. It's there, but you can't see it. All right. So I'm giving you guys a little bit of what I go through before each show. Okay. So anyway,
Garnet coming through with the 20-minute late correction, saying my pocket checking comment was misunderstood. My bad for not actually explaining. Go ahead and explain what you mean, Garnet.
Yeah, it's all good, Garnet, man. Look, Garnet, like I said, man, we don't pick on you, man. You're active in the chat, and we appreciate you coming through. So we try to We try to.
Yeah, we always appreciate conversations with you. That's all.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I didn't even, man. Look, $ LBHT show. Okay, if you want to do a super chat, that's how you do a super chat. $ LBHT show. Drop a donation, leave a comment. We'll read it on air. All right. And thank you guys for coming through. Click One says, why do you guys think Trubisky was taken before Watson and Mahomes? I can guarantee you that race was a factor when the Bears took him over two amazing color QBs. Yeah.
Went with the color there, but yeah, the Bears didn't even talk to Deshaun Watson. Yeah, he said that after a few years, he put that out there that they weren't even considering him. They didn't talk to him at all, so he was just not on their board. Yeah, but Mitchell Trubisky, he likes to be called. He went before them, I think, because he looked the part. He had the height. He looked like what they think a starting quarterback looks like. And Mahomes and Watson don't. And to be fair, Mahomes, a lot of people didn't really think that he would make it in the NFL. They thought that he was kind of because of the offense he played in college and whatnot. But Mitchell absolutely went before Watson. Race definitely played a factor there.
Yeah. I mean, look, Lamar was, you have reports that teams wanted to scout Lamar as a wide receiver and not a quarterback. And that's absolutely why he fell to us at the 32nd pick, right? 32nd pick.
Yeah.
Teams just didn't believe in him as a passer. That wasn't us being savvy as an organization. We got lucky that the league is still racist. That's what it comes down to. We got lucky that, these other teams said, nah, we don't believe in him as a passer. I mean, for God's sakes, like Tim Tebow went ahead, right? Tim Tebow got drafted like 17th. Like, in fact, Denver traded with us, right? We traded out that spot and they traded with us to get somebody that showed you he can't pass, right? Like, he literally could not make all the passes.
That's because he's got Jesus in his heart, though. Tim Tebow, the only Christian NFL player ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Troy wants to know, do you build what? But in your opinion, if Ravens would have traded for Julio, that would have made us a Super Bowl contender right now? Yes, I think so. I see us as a playoff team, not a Super Bowl contender this season. Yeah, I think if we got Julio, I think that in my mind, I would think that would put us in the Super Bowl conversation. Yes. Yeah. You need those type of players. Oh, man, Sterling is in the house. What's going on, Sterling? Thanks for coming through. Yeah, man, we did an emergency live stream. We're venting about the Titans getting Julio Jones. Did you miss so here's a funny thing. Did you miss the Lakers upset conversation? No, you did not. We were actually going to record today a Lakers video discussing, their early exit and what's next for them, coming up this off season and going into next year. But then this news with Julio Jones dropped, right? Julio Jones is getting traded to the Titans. So we decided to do an emergency live stream and discuss that. But yes, we're going to be talking some Lakers talk, and we're going to be talking about my Nets. We saw what they did last night.
We got another Cash App here, and there will be a question forthcoming. So thank you very much again.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Thank you. Man, you guys are awesome, man. Noah's laughing at you at the Tebow thing.
I mean, point at the lie.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Davon says he's mad at the Suns are being favored now for the finals. Hey, look, I mean, they have a good shot at making to the finals. They're not going to win it. All right. Attitude pops. Oh, what you say?
Go ahead.
Really, Tannehill over Lamar, you're going from 4,000-yard passer to Derrick Henry, who runs the offense, not Tannehill. I'm not sure what you mean.
They're discussing because Julio said he wanted a big arm quarterback, and now it's Tannehill versus Lamar. Garnett clarifying his previous comments as EDC came out multiple times in previous years saying that he did not like trading away second-round picks, putting himself in future debt. My hopes also crashed after I saw Julio training with Henry. And we all know that EDC, and not just EDC, the Ravens in general, their philosophy is, to hoard draft picks as much as possible. I think that the second round pick talk is silly because they generally miss on them. And if you're trading a second round pick for a proven player, you're winning already.
Yeah. Now, granted, that was under Ozzy's regime that they miss almost exclusively on second round picks, right? But yeah, they've been pretty worthless. Second round picks for us. They've been pretty worthless for the last about 6 or 7 years.
Stop. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but our guy Noah Driscoll just said Logan Paul is taking the W tonight. And what the hell, Noah?
So Noah, I mean, that's just that is factually incorrect because I don't think they're having judges. There's no judges, so there's not going to actually be a winner. It's just an exhibition. No knockouts allowed. There's not going to be any official scoring. I'm not even sure there's going to even be knockdowns allowed. It's just a sparring match. So there won't be an official winner to the fight.
Disgusted, Noah. Disgusted by that comment.
And I hope you didn't pay for it.
Did you pay for it, Noah? You gave him that $49.99?
If you pay for it, get your refund and we'll talk.
That's why we got to put up the Discord today.
Yeah. We got to put that Discord up. We got to do that. We got to do that. If you're
Sterling, this is the question I had too, Sterling. He says, "How is a knockout not allowed? Like, what are you gonna do if Floyd lands a punch and knocks him out? You gonna yell at Logan to wake up?"
That's a yeah. No punches even thrown. Yeah. Well. I think. I think because this is a Floyd rule, right? Because Logan Paul's not gonna really do anything. It's a Floyd rule. It's hey, if you knock me out, like I get a few more points on a pay-per-view buys or something like that, right? Because Floyd is a professional. He's a true professional. He understands how to move around the ring, how to control his punches and things like that. How to go in there and not hurt the fighter, right? Keep him upright. Same thing he did with Conor, right? People look at that Conor fight and they think, oh man, Conor was so close. No, Mayweather kept him around long enough to make it entertaining, and then he put him away without seriously damaging him. Like he could have put Conor out in the first round if he wanted to. All right, but he knows how to put on the show.
We got another cash app. This one from Sterling. Thank you very much, Sterling.
Thanks, Sterling. Appreciate it.
He says, catching hands to the face is a DQ. Yes. Pretty much. No one said he was joking. He just wanted to talk about the boxing match. And listen, there ain't no boxing match tonight, but it looks like they're saying that Floyd might he could possibly make upwards of $100 million for fighting Logan Paul. He's getting $10 million in base pay and then 50% of the pay-per-view numbers. Yeah. Logan's getting $250,000 and then 10%. So, they're playing it up, they're hyping it up. They're going to go out there and have a good time and try and entertain people and go home with a boatload of money.
And also for you football fans, we got a little football action going on during the fight too. Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Chad Ochocinco, will be fighting
again. Chad Johnson,
a.k.a. Pepe, like he calls himself. He's going to be on the undercard. He's going to be fighting. I forget the guy's name.
Kind of a pro MMA fighter, but not a UFC fighter. He's on kind of the lower tier circuits. Yeah. So that will not be interesting. Andrew Securo, what's up? Yeah, I knew the Ravens
Andrew,
were not
what's going on, Andrew? What's going on, my man? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Good to see you.
You knew the Ravens were not getting Julio, and I kept telling folks not to get their hopes up, and now they're all upset. Got their hopes up. Go Jazz. Oh man, you got me, Andrew. You got me. I would not have read that. Had I looked ahead, I would not have read Go Jazz. But listen, I mean, people are rightfully upset. The Ravens, they need to be more aggressive. But I mean, it kind of like Arna saying, it kind of is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
You just want to get vent a bit, and then that's it.
Yeah. And look, you're gonna hear it on this show, man. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear it. We like to remind you guys of the opportunities that we squandered to get better on offense because it always comes back to bite us in the ass. It always comes back to bite us. So I'm not going to let up on this organization. I'm not going to let up on Eric DaCosta because we could be better. We could be an even better team. We could have won a Super Bowl by now, I think, with Lamar. But it's just taking those extra steps. We're not doing it. And when we get to the off season, it's always this praise showered upon Eric DaCosta like he did something. And all we've done is get lucky. The only thing that's happened to this current Ravens team is that we got lucky that no other team wanted to draft Lamar. And we would, and Ozzie was competent enough to say, all right, let me trade back in the first and get this guy. He's too good to not get at all. So it's been luck that we have the team that we have now, and we're not taking advantage of the opportunity that we have. Eric L says, should Lamar sign or not sign his extension after Julio Jones was not traded to the Ravens and other things they have not done to really support Lamar as a QB? I think this year is going to be very indicative of what Lamar wants to do in the offseason. They drafted that one guard from Georgia, Ben Cleveland. They've been drafted Ben Cleveland.
I believe his name is now Ben Baltimore. That's what I've seen people calling him.
Oh, okay.
Before you continue, I just wanted we got another cash app from Eric L.
Thank you, Eric
for
L.
the question. So thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate that, man.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Ben Cleveland. We'll see what Bradley Bozeman does at center. I'm not too excited about that. We got Villanueva at right tackle. Look, as a unit, they might project them better than last year. We'll see. But basically, it comes down to, is the O-line going to be better? Have we done enough to protect Lamar? And have we gotten him enough weapons to really do something? So those questions need to be answered. Have we done enough on the offensive side? And also coaching too, right? Like, Greg Roman's still there. He has to really show that he knows what to do with Lamar, right? He has to show that. And if those questions aren't satisfied by the end of the year, I think Lamar's going to sign a long-term deal, but I think it could drag out depending on how the season goes. Because if I'm Lamar coming in the offseason, if we fall short again, there are a few things that need to happen. Change in coaching. I ain't just talking about Greg Roman. I'm talking about head coach, right? We need a different coach. We need, I need a stud at wide receiver. I need a dog at wide receiver, right? And I need protection. Those things need to be addressed before I sign a long-term deal.
I think he should go ahead and sign. Assuming that the numbers are right, obviously. I think he should go ahead and sign because it's the most powerful position in football, and he can sign his contract and then make those demands anyway.
That's true.
And if they don't do it, he can try and force his way out, and that'll get done. So I think he should go ahead and sign, get the money right now on a shorter term deal, and then still be pretty young when his next contract comes up and cash in again. I think Garnett's saying if Jackson can take his game to another level by consistently throwing receivers open and getting through his progressions, the kid can literally elevate a lot of people around him. This is the thing that I used to listen to. I don't buy into the elevating the players around you talk. Not to say that you can't get more production out of guys, and that's fine.
Right.
But it's like I always look at I forget what year it was, but Tom Brady when they got to the playoffs and Rashae Caldwell was there. And you remember the year when he had the huge eyes.
It was the year that that's when the Colts went to the Super Bowl.
Because the receivers let them down. They were all bad. Yeah, and we all know that Tom Brady can play, but they were dropping passes, they weren't getting open, things like that. And then
he dropped that screen pass and he was wide open. Yeah.
New England didn't say, "Man, Tom, you got to elevate these guys." New England cut all five of their wide receivers, and they went and got. I believe at that point it was Wes Welker and Randy Moss.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you do.
It's fine, and that's not to say that Lamar shouldn't keep working to improve. Absolutely, he should. But the team needs to get more talent. I don't want to hear about the quarterback elevating other players. The GM needs to elevate those players.
Yeah, I mean, the man is a league MVP, right? Like he's showing you what he can do, and it's not on him to make all these guys better. Like they need to go out there and perform, and if they can't do it, get guys that can. Right? Like it's a give and take. Like yes, you want a quarterback that can put these guys in position to succeed. But the wide receivers also need to be able to bail out the quarterback sometimes, right? To make spectacular plays. Like when we talk about Aaron Rodgers and we talk about Mahomes, again, we don't look at those games, right? Like you guys don't really go and watch some of those games and see the plays that their wide receivers are making. Devontae Adams bails out Aaron Rodgers a lot. Like you can go watch some of the catches he makes. You know what I'm saying? Rodgers is accurate for sure, but some of the throws that he's throwing, they're not on point. It's just great adjustment by Adams. Same things with Mahomes, especially when Mahomes throws on the run. Kelsey makes some great catches.
Yeah, Garnett saying, I feel you, but they were literally receivers wide the hell open, but Jackson just never threw or just never saw them. Could be for multiple reasons, but the big plays were there. And that's true. Mm-hmm. But that's something that happens with every team. And like I said, he does need to keep working, trying to keep progressing, working on his own to get better. But I'm not looking for a player on the team to make those other positions better. You have a GM, have your GM go and get better receivers.
And I agree with that, though. He's got to do a better job finding those open guys, and that's something I think he's working on. I know he's working on. I mean, he works on his game rigorously in the offseason, so I think that's something he will improve on. But also, it's on the coaching too, right? Like the coaches need to say, "Hey, look, this guy is open there. Like when we run that playback, like look out for him." But I think honestly, what it is. The reason why we don't see that is because that guy that's wide open, the play wasn't drawn up for him, right? It's always hey, Lamar, keep your eyes over here, right? Don't look downfield, just keep it, these short routes, that's what we're looking for. Don't worry about the guy down the field. And I don't think, even though they see that the guy's wide open downfield, I don't think they emphasize that when they go back and look at the tape because they don't want Lamar to look down the field. That's a coaching issue for sure. Cornell Russ, what's going on, man? Evidently, Eric is taking Ozzy's advice and worries about next year in lieu of this year. I never wanted to take him to the helm. I wanted fresh, innovative leadership with a mind of his own. Yeah, I mean, Ozzy's still in the building.
Yeah,
he's still influential in that front office for sure. Jimmy Dean says QB is the position that should elevate other players. That's why they get the money. Look, I mean, yes, to an extent, but I mean, what do you have? I mean, great wide receivers do that too. Like I said, it's a give and take. When you have a great wide receiver, they know how to make plays in big moments. It's not always going to be the quarterback doing everything.
Yeah, I'm going to say no to that altogether because what great quarterback can you name who did not have great wide receivers along with him? Teams understand that. It's just with certain players, they don't want to do it. They understand that you got to put talent around those guys. Yeah, and it's just, in some cases, Donovan McNabb, Lamar Jackson right now, Cam Newton in Carolina, they just don't do it. So I'm not going to sit and say, Lamar needs to make Miles Boykin better. No, Miles Boykin needs to go, and they need to get a better wide receiver on the field.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anything about Miles Boykin, man. He's had his opportunities. He just hasn't done anything, man. He hasn't. He hasn't shown that he can be a real threat out there. That's not on Lamar. I mean, okay, he's missed him on a couple open plays, right? What difference would that make? Right? Like, okay, he has a couple more touchdowns now. He has a couple hundred more yards now. He's still not anything special, right? That's just facts. Like Boykin isn't anything special, Let's see.
Hawk saying, what's going on, guys? I saw you guys chopping it up with Engraven and had to subscribe. Appreciate it, Hawk. Thank you. And welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, Hawk. Oh, man, you saw that video? That video was, go check it out. What were we talking about in that video? That was the one.
That was a questions from subscribers video.
Yeah.
So we were talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of draft stuff in that one, I believe, or
Yes.
some draft stuff anyway.
Yes. Okay.
And John Harbaugh, you know, loving to look out for John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Boykin doesn't show any effort. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, man. It doesn't. Boykin doesn't show any effort. Duvernay shows effort, but not enough skill. Yeah, man. And Prochet is about to get cut. Garnett, you're saying you're used to defend Miles Boykin, but the moment he ran on the field, not knowing what to do, I shut the hell up real quick about him. Yeah. Or he ran into another receiver. That was great. It's as if the Ravens front office is just happy with making the playoffs and surrounding Lamar Jackson with average supporting cast on offense. They have a philosophy in Baltimore, man. It's defense, right? They want to be set on defense, and we'll just find a way on offense.
Yeah, and they are happy with just making the playoffs. They're complacent. They're saying, "Hey, we got to the playoffs, and if we get there consistently, 1 year things will break right for us." Because again, let's not kid ourselves. They were not the most talented team out there the last time they won the Super Bowl either.
No,
but they, Joe Flacco went on a miracle run. Raheem Moore sabotaged his own career, and that's it.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll read a few more comments. Get up out of here, man. I think we vented long enough. We still got some videos to put out for our NBA. Our NBA fans, yeah, we're gonna be doing some NBA videos. I don't know. We want to just do a live stream later? Maybe not later today. Maybe tomorrow, or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But if you're an NBA fan, man, we're covering the playoffs too. So you're gonna be getting some NBA content from us. B's a Lakers fan. I'm a Nets fan. The Lakers took an early exit, but the Nets are still rolling.
So Eric Allen says Lamar has elevated the Ravens players and coaches. He has created and saved a lot of jobs since he started. Also, I haven't seen Lamar throw people open, or I have seen Lamar throw people open. His throwing ability is very underrated. I agree with that.
That's a fact. Look,
to his detriment, he saved some jobs.
Yes, I agree. That's a fact. Miles Boykin on another team, I don't know what kind of player you guys think he would be, right? He wouldn't be a number 2. I can tell you that. He wouldn't be a number 2 wide receiver on any other team. I mean, we just talked about what some of these quarterbacks have as their two wide receiver tandem. Like, tell me which team in the AFC Miles Boykin's going in there being the number 2 wide receiver, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I think Lamar elevated him. Gus Edwards, who was just he was just a guy. Now, we got a lot of people in Ravens Nation talking about he's one of the best running backs in the league. That's Lamar elevating him. Okay. Yeah. Yes, he has elevated his players and he has saved coaching jobs. He's done a lot. He's put the team on his back. Let's see.
Oh, Living Legend called him Inches Boykin. That's not nice. That's not nice at all.
Dave Oz said Ozzie would have gotten Julio. He might have. You don't want to give up a second round pick. Like, think about how ridiculous this is, guys. You don't want to give up a second round pick. What do you think you're going to get with that second round pick? What do you think you're going to get that's going to be better than Julio Jones? Like, this is when teams, when GMs and coaches and all that stuff, they start valuing potential over what's in front of your face. The odds are you're not going to get a player the caliber of Julio Jones. There's a great chance you're not going to get a first rounder because, like I said it earlier, Bateman's never going to be Julio Jones. And that's not a slight to Bateman in any way. I think he's going to be an excellent wide receiver, but Julio Jones is one of the greatest of all times.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be that. He's just not. So what is it if we give a future second round pick? Who cares? We just wasted a first round pick on a project player. Mm-hmm. Right. And you can say what you want about you can think he's going to be a really good player, but you don't think he's going to be a good player this year. You don't really think he's going to be a good player next year. You think maybe 3 years from now. That's a waste, dude.
Yeah.
That's a waste. And if you're gonna waste that on a first round pick, you can give a second round pick for a guy that you know can ball out. Which comment are you reading, B?
I'm looking at Andrew coming through with a little tempering of the frustration here, saying at least they drafted Bateman and Wallace to add some weapons. They did not do nothing, and that's true. And I give EDC credit for getting those guys. I think those were both good picks.
Yes.
I'm just wishing he would have done more.
Yeah. Yeah. Attitude Pop, I see you, man. I look, we're not going to do it today, Attitude Pop. Okay, I saw your comment earlier. I feel bad for LeBron. AD is made of glass and can't depend on him. And here comes the haters calling him LeQuid, LeBum. Okay, yeah, look. It's always going to be hate with LeBron. Like AD gets hurt a lot. You know, like people are questioning AD. They just won the title, dude. They just won it last year. They just won it last year.
So you want to just go ahead and talk about the NBA now? Or we can just cut it up, you know.
Well, no, because the stream, like the stream is about Julio Jones, so we'll do it later. We'll do it later. Okay. But yeah, look, it is what it is. LeBron's always going to catch that hate. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. He's the greatest of all time.
Well, what is Felipe talking about? Where are you at, Jose? CP3 is the king, and Blake Griffin is carrying the Nets. I mean, just delusion. Just delusion, Felipe.
Felipe, man, you can say what you want about my Nets. They're winning. Okay, you look, all the hate that you want, that ring is coming. Okay,
and saying Dame is way better than AD. What?
Yes. Here we go. Deshaun,
the man got swept.
Nobody should feel bad for LeBron. He's a GOAT. Yep, and he has dominated the league for a decade and a half. He's fine. I agree.
I feel bad, Deshaun.
Yeah, we go. Another game's going on. You know what? We might do a live stream later. We'll get into some basketball talk because we gotta look. I can already see you guys.
El Nino Maravilla is heading to the second round today.
Yeah, we might be back on here later, guys. We might be back on here later. Bucks and 6. You don't believe that, Attitude Pop? You don't believe that for 1 second? All right.
You're going to beat the Nets 4 out of the next 5?
No, they don't believe that. They have no chance. Damian Lillard come into the Lakers. LeBron, AD, Dame. Yeah, that could happen. Look, I think this offseason is going to say everything that you need to know about Damian Lillard. I've already said it. I think he's a player that likes playing with no expectations. That's why he stayed in Portland. This year he has to say, look, either get me help or get me out of here. Trade me to someplace where I can go and compete. But if he stays in Portland, that tells me he's just good, just not having any expectations because he's not playing with another superstar and nobody expects him to win, which is why it's easy for him to hit clutch shots because there's no pressure on him. If he makes it, okay, you're the hero. If you don't make it, that's okay. You weren't supposed to win anyway. You know, right. That's easy. Yeah. I think look, we'll see. We'll see what he does this offseason. If he comes back next year.
Well, yeah, because Jason Kidd already said he ain't coaching Portland.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. So, Live Legend says Booker outplayed LeBron when it mattered, but LeBron had no help at all. Well, there you go. Yeah.
He did, but, and LeBron was playing still with his ankle injury. He's under 100%. But, yeah, look, everybody in a Phoenix Suns uniform outplayed everybody in a Lakers uniform. That's just what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, even AD, he had one great game or one pretty good game. I mean, he was awful in game 1 when he was healthy. So, it didn't come together. They had LeBron and AD out for a couple months. Schroeder missed some time at the end of the season. They all came back, but it just wasn't, they weren't in their top form. They couldn't get it together, and they just got beat.
Just a little says this is the first time I ever disagree with Jose about Dame.
Okay. Dame is like he's like Dez.
But it's just crazy. Just a little. What do you think is going on with Dame? Right, he had a chance to leave. He's 30 years old. He's at that age where he needs to be thinking about getting a ring. What do you think it is with him? Like, why is he staying in Portland, not demanding for any real help, not not looking to go pair with another superstar. Like that's the league that we're in now.
Just a little says you can't diss a guy for being loyal. Look, you
Yes,
should
you
be
can.
loyal. You should be loyal to your friends and family. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Why are
like
you
that.
Why are you loyal to the Portland Trailblazers? For what?
Yeah,
They're not going to
listen,
be loyal to you. They haven't done what they needed to do in putting players around him. So loyal for what?
I think loyalty has nothing to do with it. I think it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with it at all. He's in a safe space, right? He's comfortable. They adore him there, and they'll never criticize him for anything. And he just wants to live in that space for as long as possible. 3 more years, 3 or 4 more years, when that team is pretty much is run its course and they can't even get the first round anymore. You think Portland won't look to trade him, whether he wants to go or not? Of course they will, because it's not about loyalty. Young G, I saw your comment, man. I'm kind of just laughing at the Titans. What defense do y'all have to back the offense? What does it matter? Like,
I'm not mad. I'm actually laughing right now. That's what that comment said, man.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not mad. You're mad. Like, they were in the playoffs last year with that awful defense, and if they had Julio Jones in that game against us, look, that last play wouldn't have been an interception. It would have been Julio Jones snatching the ball from Marcus Peters.
Just a little. He said, "Don't get me wrong, Dame should leave Portland." What?
Okay, yeah. But see, that's what I'm talking about, though, right? That's what I'm talking about. Dame, yeah, like you're at the point now where you should be looking to secure your legacy, right? Justified or not, great players are judged by the rings, and it has to be on his mind at some point. And it doesn't seem like that. I mean, look, his teammate Nurkic even came out and said, "Man, I don't want to come back here unless they get some help." Right? That's Nurkic saying that. Lillard needs to say that.
Yeah.
Lillard would carry the Lakers. He can't carry the team he's on now.
Right.
How's he gonna carry? Like he's not that type of player. He's an excellent player. I'm not
He's
trying to
an
diss him.
elite number 2.
Yeah, and that's fine. Not everybody can be elite. Not everybody can be elite. That's only a handful of players, and he's not in that. He's not in that category. I'm just not dissing him for staying. I'm not dissing him either. That's not a diss. Me saying that him like being in a safe space, that's not a diss. That's just telling. I'm just telling you like what he's doing. You know,
Yeah.
he's not the most clutch player in the league. He's not top 5. He's not an elite player. He's a very good player. He's a step below that. And that's fine. That's fine. I like Dame. Spirit of Ogun says, when will most fans get that defense in today's team doesn't mean much now when it's an offensive heavy team? Yeah, no, exactly. Defense doesn't mean as much in today's NFL. I mean, you still want to have a good defense, which we have, but I mean, you got to be able to score. Here we go. I knew this was going to come. Living Legend says, defense matters. Look at the Super Bowl for reference. The last game played is just not the end all be all. You need an offense too. Well, okay. Well, if we want to use the Super Bowl as a reference, what did the Chiefs do the year before in the Super Bowl to the number 1 defense?
Yeah, that wasn't about Tampa Bay's defense. That was about most of Kansas City's offensive line being injured. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it can go both ways, right? You want to use that one game as a reference, but the year before they beat the number 1 defense in the league, right? And again, okay, they lost in the Super Bowl when their O-line was hurt, but that's the Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl. That's the second year in a row they made it to the Super Bowl, and they're expecting to get back.
Hold
again.
on, Deshaun. He said he's a better number 2. Talking about Damian Lillard, he's a better number 2 than AD. That's the point. If Bron had Dame, he would have still won last year and would still be in the playoffs right now. Dame ain't in the playoffs right now, man. Dame got beat. Like I know you like to use All-Stars as a reference. Oh, you know, they don't have any All-Stars in Portland. They ain't no All-Stars in Denver either.
No. Yeah. They lost to a team that they could have beaten.
Damian Lillard's not hurt, and the game before they got sent home, he went 1 for 10 and had 10 points and got carried by a supporting cast.
There's nothing on that Denver's team that sticks out to make me believe they're a better team than Portland. There isn't. Jamal Murray is hurt. Yeah, I mean, Joker. I mean, he's really good, fine. But everybody else, Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, I mean, he's good, but I mean, that's not enough. I mean, from top to bottom, I wouldn't say they had a better team than Portland, but again, they just beat Portland because Lillard can't carry anybody. Living Legend said he removed the comment. He didn't word it correctly. It's all good, man. It's all good. Dane doesn't have Braun, and Denver is a better built team. They're not a better built team. They're not. Look at their rosters. They're not a better built team.
No, what you're seeing, Deshaun, is that Jokic is a better player than Lillard. That's what you're seeing. And they look like a better built team because they're beating Portland. Because Lillard isn't carrying Portland. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like with Dallas, and this is where we go back and forth on Luka and Tatum, right? Like if you look at Dallas, like, yeah, man, they've got a nice team over there. No, it's Luka carrying that offense is what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're a better team because of Luka.
Yeah, Dane can get you 55 points and 12 3-pointers. Yeah, and a loss.
Look, he can also get you 10 points.
All right, let me stop because I don't like crapping on Dame Lillard. I like Dame Lillard. Like this makes it sound like we're hating on Dame Lillard. I'm not hating on him, man. I like him, but we're keeping it in perspective, man. Like he's not an elite player. He obviously can't carry a team. If Lillard goes to another team, like there's no expectations for that team to get better. There are with elite players. If any team that KD goes to, there's an expectation for that team to get better and possibly compete for a title. If LeBron goes to another team at age 37, there's an expectation for them to compete for a title. You know what I mean? Like even Harden goes to another team, maybe not a title, but you're expecting them to get to a certain point, right? Like to compete. You don't think that way about Damian Lillard. You just don't. He's a good player. He's exciting to watch, but you don't think, if they get Lillard, they're gonna win. You know what I mean? Like nobody thinks that way about Lillard, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
So, will AD do something with Portland and that squad?
He'd beat a Damian Lillard led team like he did when he was in New Orleans. They swept Portland.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, if you want to say AD isn't that guy either, that's fine. I would take him over AD. Not AD, over Damian Lillard. I'll take him over Damian Lillard. He can score. He's not as good of a scorer as Damian Lillard, but he's miles better of a defender and rebounder. I mean, he's just a better player all around. I mean, the injury thing is legit. I get it. If you want to say he just gets hurt a lot, I understand that. But like I said, they just won a title. So, I mean, you can only criticize him for so much. Lillard hasn't come close to winning the title. And if you want to say it's because of the team, he can do something about that. The fan in me wants to see Dame in Chicago, but realistically, we don't have the assets to pull off a deal like that. I mean, you can make anything happen if he wants to go there.
Yeah. That's what it's going to come down to is where he wants to play.
Yeah. All right. So let's end the stream now because we're getting into the basketball talk. We'll be back here. I don't know. We'll be back here later tonight. And we'll do another basketball stream. I just wanted to make this one about Julio and the failure that the Ravens, another Ravens failure, not getting an elite wide receiver. And I just wanted to voice our frustrations real quick, let you guys voice your frustrations. And but yeah, we'll be back later, talk some NBA. If you guys are into video games, we have another channel, Old Man Gamers. We periodically post videos on there, but we plan on putting some new stuff out there tonight, tomorrow, sometime this week, sometime. But go ahead and check it out. Check it out. You just go to our page and under channels, it should be under there. Old Man Gamers, and we'll talk video games, movies, all kinds of fun and entertaining stuff. All right. Just a little thanks for coming through. Dave on. Yes. Hit the notifications. Yes. Hit the notifications. Yeah. Dave wants us to review Biomutant. Yeah.
Oh, man, listen, I would do that if I did not have to buy it.
Yeah, yeah.
They throw that thing on Game Pass, because I was kind of looking forward to it. The reviews have scared me away a little bit, but we'll do that at some point. We'll do it at some point.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming through. We will see y'all shortly. Peace out.